Alright, kiddos, here we are. Next lesson. Right, so make sure you have, welcome to the next lesson. So make sure you have paper and pencil ready to copy everything in these notes. And we're all set to go. Okay, so first thing we always do is we identify the name of these notes, right? So the name of these notes are Solve System by Elimination Part 3. And the last part of elimination, actually. Part 3 is the last part of elimination. So we're at the last part of elimination. Good job. You did part 1. You did part 2. We're up to part 3. Okay? I'm sure you guys are going to notice that the notes are very similar. Okay? So, the first bullet point here is, let me make this a little smaller, is we are going to, as you're familiar with, we're going to look for opposite x's or y's. Right? We're going to look for opposite x's or y's. Okay? Second, we are going to multiply both equations to make x or y opposites. I want to emphasize this right here, everybody. Both. We are going to multiply both equations to make x or y opposites. And you'll see what I mean about that. Okay? Next, we are going to eliminate the x's or y's, which we already know. Okay? And next after that, we are going to solve one variable, either x or y, right? You're going to solve either x first, or you're going to solve y first, right? Then, finally, we are going to then solve for the other variable, x or y. So if you solve for x first, you're going to solve for y second. If you solve for y second, you're going to solve for x first, right? All right. So we got this. So let's get to work. So the instructions say we're going to solve each system by elimination. Okay? Perfect. Perfect instructions, because we are in elimination part 3, right? Okay? All right. So let's look at number 1. So the first thing that I always do with this system, as you all know, is we're going to highlight each equation. So this first equation I'm going to highlight in orange, and the second equation I'm going to highlight in lime green. Okay. Now I'm going to look for x's or y's that eliminate. Let's see. Well, this x6x and negative 10x, they don't eliminate. 8y and negative 10y, well, they don't eliminate. So what can I do to get them to eliminate? So let's see. Is there anything I can do with this 6x to make it into 10? Can I multiply 6 times anything to make it 10? No. Can I multiply 8 by anything to make it 10? Well, no. I can't do anything to y, multiply y to make it 6, or this 10 to make it y. Man. Well, let's look at our second bullet point here. This is where it says, all right, let me fill it all in, and there you go, into the screen here. Multiply both equations to make x or y possible. Okay, we're going to multiply both equations. So what I want to do is I'm going to multiply them by the opposites of each other. So I'm going to multiply this by 10, and I'm going to multiply this by 6. Because if I multiply this by 10, it'll make it a positive 60, 10 times 6. And if I multiply it by 6, it's going to be a negative 60. 60x, negative 60x, that's exactly what I want, kiddos. So let's do that. Okay? So I'm going to multiply that. So I'm going to put a parentheses around this one. And I'm going to multiply this by 10. And I'm going to multiply this one here by 6. So 10 times 6 is 60x. So 60x. 10 times 8y is positive 80y equals 10 times negative 4 is negative 40. Perfect. We got the first one down. Okay? Second one. 6 times negative 10 is negative 60x. 10 times negative 10y is a negative 60y equals 6 times 30 is 180. Look at that. Right? So those are my equations. And actually, so this is my green one, and this one is my orange one here. Right? So I can draw my line under it. And now look at this, kiddos. 60, positive 60x and negative 60x. Man, that's exactly what I wanted. Because those two are, look, boom, boom. Cross out. So let's cross them out. 60x and negative 60x are gone. They cancel out. 60 minus 60 is 0. Right? So 80y minus 60y. 80 minus 60 is 20y is equal to, well, a negative 40 and a positive 180 are not the same sign, so I got to subtract them. 180 minus 40 is 140. And it's a positive because 180 is bigger and 180 is positive. So I'm going to draw my line of separation. I know that 20y means 20 times y. And the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So I am left with y is equal to 140 divided by 20, kiddos, is 7. Look at that. Look at that. That's my y, right? So let us not forget that our solution has to be in x comma y form. X comma y. Right? So, what do I have now? What did I get first? I got my y. Y is equal to 7. So, I can say over here, got my y. But now I need to find my x. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to see which one of these two here original equations is easier. I think orange is easier. So I'm going to recopy orange. I'm going to recopy orange. So I'm going to take this orange and I'm going to write it right there. Right there. So orange says 6x plus 8y is equal to negative 4. That's my orange. Right? Let me see. Copy it over. 6x plus 8y equals negative 4. 6x plus 8y. Perfect. But look at my y equals 7 here. I can plug in y equals 7 right here. So I'm going to leave that y a parenthesis. So I'm going to say 6x plus 8 parentheses is equal to negative 4. And I leave a parenthesis because look what I'm going to plug into right here. 7 into there because 7 is y. Y is equal to 7. So I'm going to put a 7 right there. So I draw my line of separation. 8 times 7 is 56. Well, I'm immediately, kiddos, going to move this 56 over and make it a negative 56 over here. Make it a negative 56. So I still have my 6x here on the left. A negative 4 and the negative 56, guys. Same sign, right, kiddos? So I add. 4 plus 56 is 60. And it's a negative 60 because 56 is bigger. 56 is a negative. So 6x means 6 times x. So the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So I get x is equal to negative divided by a positive is a negative. 60 divided by 10 is 6. 6 is 10, sorry. And there's my x. So I can come over here and I have my x now. So I have my x and I have my y. So that means equals, what is, I need to write them as x comma y. Well, my x was -10, so I'm going to write here -10. And my y is 7. So I'm going to write 7 right there. And that right here, kiddos, is my final solution. And that is the first example. See? Where I had to multiply both equations here. See? I multiplied the top by 10 and the bottom by 6. Right? In the previous lesson, we only had to multiply one of the equations, but this one we got to multiply both. Okay? Here we go. Good job. Let's try the next and last example. So, highlight once again. I'll pick purple this time. I'm going to highlight the top purple, and I'm going to highlight the bottom. Let's go with this cool Regent blue right here, right? Right here. So, I'm going to check if anything cancels first. 3x and 8x. Now, those are both positives. They don't cancel, and they're both different. They're different numbers. 7y and 6y. Well, those are also both positives, but they're different numbers. They don't cancel. So what am I going to do? Well, if I multiply this 3 by 8, it'll give me 24. And I multiply this 8 by 3. So you're just taking the opposites, right? So this 3 by 8, 3 times 8 will give me 24. And I multiply 8 times 3 will give me 24. But they're both positive, though. 24x and 24x doesn't cancel. What if I multiply one of them by a negative number? So let me try that out. Let's see. So I'm going to multiply this top equation by 8, right? I'm multiplying it by the bottom by 8. And this bottom one, I'm going to multiply it, but not just by 3, kiddos, by -3. Because I want this to be a negative 24x, and I want this to be a positive 24x. So let us write down our two new equations. 8 times 3x gives us 24x. 8 times 7y, 8 times 7 is 56y, is equal to 8 times -13. Well, I don't know what that one on top of my head. So let's use our tool. Look at this tool right here. 8 times -13, -104. Perfect. So, -104. Now the bottom, -3 times 8x is -24x. -3 times 6y is -18y. And -3 times 16, I don't know what that one is, so let's use our tool here. -3 times 16, -48. Look at that. Okay. -48 equals -48. And there you go. Those are my two new equations, right? And actually, let me highlight them. Their colors. This was my Regent blue. And this one was my, well, and it's a different purple, isn't it? It's okay. You guys get the idea. All right. So we can cancel them out now. Look at this. Positive 24x and negative 24x. Boom! That's exactly what I wanted. Cross them out. Boom. Boom. Out. So now I have 56y minus 18y. Different signs, right? 56 minus 18. Remember, use your tool, use your calculator. If you're not sure, I'm sure, so I'm just going to write 38y. And it's a positive 38 because 56 is bigger, 56 is a positive. Okay? These two, -104 and -48, they're the same sign, so I'm going to add them. 104 plus 48 is 152. And it's a negative because 104 is bigger and 104 is a negative. So I draw my line of separation. 38y means 38 times y. So the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So I get y is equal to -52 divided by 38? That I don't know. So I'm going to use my tool here. Negative 152 divided by 38. I get negative 4. Look at that. So I get negative 4. And there is my y. Look at that. But let us remember that our answer must be in x, comma, y form, right? So we have our y. We found y. Look at that. Yeah, I found y. Now I need to find x. So again, I'm going to go back to my two original equations, right? My purple one and my region blue one. Since we're regions, right? I'm a region. I'm going to pick the blue one to recopy. So I'm going to take this blue one here and I'm going to recopy it over here. So just the blue, remember, just what's inside the parentheses. So I'm going to say 8x plus 6y is equal to 16. Well, since I found y first, I'm going to plug in this y in here. So 8x plus 6 parentheses is equal to 16. So what goes inside the parentheses is negative 4 because y is equal to negative 4. So this negative 4 went in there, right? So let us draw a line of separation. 6 times negative 4 is negative 24. This negative 24, kiddos, is immediately going to go over this way and become a positive 24, right? Positive 24. So I get 8x. 16 plus 24 is 40. The opposite of 8 times x is divided by 8, right? So I get x is equal to 40 divided by 8 is 5. And there you go. Look at that. I have my x. So now I can go back over here and I can put a check on my x. So I have my x and my y now. Right? So let me write down my answer. My x is first, my x is 5. And my y is second is negative 4. There you go. And that is our solution for our second example. So I multiplied both of them as a reminder, right? Parentheses around both of them. And I multiplied one by a positive and one by a negative because I need them to be opposites, right? In the first one, I didn't have to multiply them both by one positive and one negative because these two were already one positive, one negative, right? So look out. Look out and see what it is exactly that you need. Okay? But that right there, kiddos, is our lesson for Solve System by Elimination Part 3. You got this. Make sure you copied everything down, right? And come back to this video if you need some more help. All right, thank you guys for being here.